the night that really kind of started everything when it comes to professional wrestling, the night where this thing was really put on the map like no other. This was the Super Bowl for professional wrestling. Vince McMahon did something that no one else could do. Vince McMahon had a vision like no other. And he knew that if he could draw all eyes onto the sport, that he could win everyone over. He could become that fifth sports league, outside of the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball and hockey. He could be that sports organization that everyone wanted to watch. Now, it meant that he had to leverage everything he had. It meant that he had to go to banks and he had to hawk everything he could. He had to beg, plead, and borrow to put this thing on. I think it paid off. Let's go back. March 31st, 1985, Madison Square Garden, New York, New York. Man, if there's any place that you could fathom having a Super Bowl and having it on the biggest stage, which is Madison Square Garden. Attendance over 19,000, right around 19,121 to be exact. It was on closed circuit TV. This was before pay-per-view was, widely available. Let's go through the matches. Tito Santana versus the Executioner, okay? Tito wins. He wins by submission with a figure four leg lock. Could you imagine a WrestleMania being finished with someone else's finish that they made famous, like Ric Flair? Could you imagine that today's age, someone going out and just CM Punk doing a tombstone this WrestleMania to win his match? You just don't do that. Like, it's unheard of, right? And I couldn't imagine sitting there in 1980, was it 1985, watching someone else use a figure four to win a match. Just unheard of. Our next match was King Kong Bundy versus SD Jones. King Kong Bundy winning this match. This match lasted mere seconds. It was a pinfall after the avalanche splash from King Kong. Seconds. This was just a squash match. I mean, people forgot that it even happened. Someone that we highlighted last week, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Matt Bourne. Ricky goes over. He wins pinfall after the flying cross body. Then we have David Sammartino versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. This was a double disqualification. David's dad, the legendary Bruno Sammartino, Johnny Valiant for Brutus the Barber Beefcake, they both interfered. We get a double disqualification. No one wins the match. Then we move into our first title match of the night, which was the Intercontinental Championship. Greg the Hammer Valentine versus the Junkyard Dog. This is some old school professional wrestling right here. The champion is Valentine. He wins, and he wins with a count out after he used the ropes for leverage. The next match is the WWF Tag Team Championship. We have the U.S. Express versus the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff, one of the heels of all heels. Volkoff sang the Soviet anthem before the match. This was during the Cold War. And for those that are too young to remember, man, the Cold War was, man, that was a stressful time. A lot of tensions between the Soviet Union, the US, and the world in general. And for him to stand in the middle of the ring in New York City, America's city, and to sing the Soviet anthem in the middle of the ring at Madison Square Garden at WrestleMania 1, you want to talk about the fans wanting to rush the ring. They wanted to get their hands on him. Like, this was, it ain't cheap heat. It's real heat. They hated him. They believed it. This was as kayfabe as that comes, right? This is still 1985. Fans aren't smartened up like they are now. And for him to be singing the Soviet anthem, guys, that's the brainchild. That is the brainchild of Vince McMahon. That is him seeing something bigger. He is using what's going on in the world. And this was something that he did throughout the entire time of him running the company. This isn't just a one-off. We saw him use modern politics. We saw him use modern issues as a source for a storyline. Then we had two big powerhouses, guys. We had two legends of the game here. We had a Mount Rushmore guy in Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd. This was a body slam challenge. This became another part of WrestleMania 1 that was just really fun. And what Andre did post-match made it even better. There was a $15,000 reward for the body slam match, okay? Whoever was able to body slam the other person wins the match. Okay, now you have to remember this is still WrestleMania 1. We have not seen Andre get slammed yet on TV. We've not seen his feet come off the wrestling ring, the mat. Okay, that comes WrestleMania 3 with Hogan, right? That is the big moment in WrestleMania history. Going into this match, we have Big John Studd is a massive human being as well, versus the eighth wonder of the world and Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant wins. The fun thing is he gets the money post-match in the ring, right? What does he do? He doesn't need the money. He doesn't care. All Andre wanted to do was win. All Andre wanted to do was put a show on. All Andre wanted to do was put his opponent through the mat. All he wanted to do was walk away a winner. He could care less about the money. So what did he do? He took the money and he threw it to the fans. $15,000 flying out into the crowd. They go crazy. It's a lot of fun. Fans are, there's probably some fists got thrown. There was probably a little bit of an argument, a little bit of a fight to get some hands on some cash. We've seen things like that happen before. Then we go into the women's championship match. It was pre-Attitude Era where we got to see, the lingerie matches. We saw the female wrestlers used more as an attraction for young men. They were used as a sex symbol. This time frame, women's wrestling was legitimate wrestling. We have a special guest in Cyndi Lauper. And let me tell you guys, Cyndi Lauper in 1985, there was nobody over more than her in freaking music, okay? In pop culture, Cyndi Lauper was everything. She was the face of MTV at this point. And this was where Vince was utilizing that pop culture. He was utilizing what he saw with MTV to go get a younger audience. This sport was no longer going to be just a blue-collar, white, redneck, country boy sport anymore, which is what it was beforehand. It really was. The South dominated professional wrestling, in my opinion. Utilizing Cyndi Lauper, we are going to go get a female audience. We're going to go get a younger audience. We're going to go get the MTV audience to come over and watch WrestleMania, to watch the biggest show in professional wrestling history.